Bobby, rich and tall, they got the rhythm and the hype. Talking about the noise brigade, stirring up noise all night. They dive deep into the madness. No topic left unturned, from corn dog to Johnny Bench. It's the knowledge we have learned, LRG have learned. LRG shipping woes, they shed light on it all. No cryptids left unknown, they'll tear down every wall. The rebels of the podcast world, breaking all the rules, giving voice to the unheard, making sure no one falls. From wrestling to mysteries, they cover it all. Bobby, Rich, and Tom, they'll never let us fall.
Baseball
Hello.
cards. Baseball cards.
Baseball. Yeah, fuck you, by the way, for that. I'm trying to look right now to see exactly how many fucking cards I bought off eBay in the past, like 3 to 4 days.
I know you've
So-
sent me a handful just through text. So I don't know that I want to know how many at this point. I might start feeling really bad for myself
All right,
here.
so I got the 89 Griffey, 89 Tops Griffey graded, PSA 8, 89 Fleer Griffey rookie, PSA 8, 89 Donruss Griffey rookie, PSA 8, an ungraded 23 Tops Archives John Kruk signed, 24. That's not a 2024, is it? The 1989 design? Yeah, I guess that is, isn't it?
Yeah, yep, yeah,
Son of a
because
bitch.
it's the 35 for 35 years since
yeah,
the
okay.
anniversary. Yep.
That makes sense. So I got the Kruk autograph from that. Bryson Stott 2021 Bowman autograph. The 89 Griffey Upper Deck. It's an SGC 5, and the 89 Score traded BGS 6. So I'm guessing that's Beckett Grading Services, and that's an 8. But I got them as a twofer. And then Alec Boehm rookie 2021 Stadium Club Chrome Refractor. Alec Boehm 2021 Bowman Chrome Throwback 91 RC Refractor. Alec Boehm 2021 Tops Chrome Rookie Black Gold. And
Nice.
Alec Boehm Rookie Refractor 86 35th Anniversary Refractor.
Sweet. Yeah, those 86 ones are sweet, man.
Yeah, I saw that one. I was like, it was $3.
Yeah, that's the cool thing. Like you can find, and that's the neat thing about kind of the hobby now. I think, look, the baseball cards for us were very junk wax era, so that's how we grew up. It was in the 80s and in the 90s, and you didn't really start to see anything unique until the very early 90s. When I say that, I mean inserts and just different parallels like Topps Gold, the Black Gold, those sorts of things. And as you got into the 90s, you saw some pretty neat inserts, and then you got some into like they were doing some really screwy things with like die cut stuff, and then Topps Chrome hit big in the 90s, and then refractors, and then it just blew up from there. And then it kind of died off a bit. I would say probably honestly post steroid baseball. I think it kind of ebbed and flowed there. Because there was, kind of a big scandal there that happened there in the mid 2000s, and whatever it is, what it is. But then it really ramps back up here in the last, I don't know, 10 years or whatever. And that's the cool thing about it now. Yeah, it's pricey, but there's so many really cool looking cards, and Topps does a fantastic job about paying a nice homage to sets of the years past with current players. And you just said that with the 86 card. Those are sweet looking. They really are.
One of my favorite sets ever is the 86 set. And partially because of how cool it looks, but partially because I have good memories of getting packs, going to the YMCA in Woodbury with my mom and my cousins, and then going to the Wawa in the corner there and snagging some wax packs and opening up the 86 tops on that playground there. So I've got good nostalgia memories of that stuff, and them, and I think my all-time favorite, and I think your all-time favorite too, judging by our logo, is the 87 Woodies.
Oh yeah,
the top
yeah.
set.
Yeah.
You
Hands down.
can't beat that. Look, what were the 70s about? The 70s were about wood paneling. Well, guess what? 1987, Topps made a wood panel fucking baseball card set. And dude, I love it. I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorite designs ever. That and the 86 set you can't beat them. The 89 set is very clean. 86 was super boring, but I thought that 89 or 80, did I say 86? 88 set was very boring to me.
Yeah.
But the 89 set really hit the nail on the head too, with just the script of the team's name. And then the name written in the little banner or whatever you want to call it. So three awesome sets in the 80s. The 90s, everybody tried to do these weird things in the 90s. God, one of the most god-awful sets was the first set of the 90s, was that 1991 where it was all the weird colors and stuff. And then 91 had some print issues, if you remember correctly.
91 is very, again, it's almost to me and the guys, it's a cool set because it's the 40th anniversary, so you have some different things there, and you have different parallels running around there too with the desert. I believe it's the Desert Shield or whatever, like logos, like the palm trees embossed. But again, overall, though, like you said about the 88 set, it's nothing jumps off the page. I mean, it's got small type. It's not like the 89 set, which was nice and big and vibrant and right in your face. You jump ahead just 2 years and it gets kind of tiny, you know. So it's just nothing great about it.
Like I have great memories of the 90s set, getting packs of that down in Ocean City. I've great memories of every year, even if I didn't necessarily like the set, just getting them. Like those god awful fucking yellow Fleers in 91.
91 Fleers, yep.
Hated them, but loved them because I loved trying to get the art cards.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bo Jackson with the little circuit board in his arm. All those cards, trying to get the 92 Fleer, which I bought a shit ton of on the boardwalk, with that like green that's like the same color as your background.
The 91 Fleer too, also, if you recall, has the black all-star cards. So like the black bordered cards.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a cool thing about that. Even though like the cards themselves were absolute trash, they had some really cool like things like that. In fact, I just uncovered. I have actually gave it to Katie, the Griffey out of that, which it's not a valuable card. I mean,
but I'm jealous. I love Griffey, obviously.
But I just had it sitting in a shoebox, looking through some stuff, and there he is tucked away behind like a bunch of nobodies, and it's like, oh, cool. I knew I had it, just I wasn't where it was. But that's the one cool thing about those. That year anyway for Fleer was garbage set, but the all-star cards were cool and the artwork cards were cool, and you did have some other things. There's also that double card too of Griffey and Bonds floating around, so that's pretty unique too.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you what, I wish that I would have kept a lot of the collection, the stuff that I got rid of. I had I think it was a 2000. No, it came out in 90. It came out in the 90s. Must have been like 90, between 91 and 93. It was a what were they called? Pinnacle set.
Oh yeah.
And it came in this like clamshell box. It was like a leather clamshell box, and it was like Home Run Kings or something like that. but it had Dutch, it had Crucker, and it had Letty Dykstra in it. And I think, if I remember correctly, but it had a Griffey in it, it had a Frank Thomas in it, Jose Canseco, Jay Buhner, I think, was in it. It was a sweet set, and I ended up selling it on eBay before I moved to Florida.
Yeah, and that
should have held on to it because I got it for Christmas. It was a sweet set.
yeah, I'm kind of pulling up now. I'm looking at. I think I found what you're talking about. Yeah, Dalton is 93.
93.
I think. I mean, if this is the same one, because it does have a lot of the players you just mentioned.
Yeah.
But like Cal Ripken's in it.
Yeah.
Dave Hollins is actually.
Yeah, maybe it was him instead of Crucker. I don't.
But yeah, Dave Hollins. Yeah, look, scanning the list for Phillies. I see Dutch. I see Dave Hollins. Charlie Hayes, I believe, was a Philly then.
That's it. That's the set that I had. It's get out of here, dude. If I can get this for $13.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. Yeah, and they're numbered too. So looks like they're. Well, I mean,
one of 20,000 sets.
There's I don't know. The one I'm looking at is one of 200,000. So I don't know.
Or 200,000. Yeah, that's what I meant. Dude, I can't do math.
There's a lot of zeros there.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what? I do want to say I had a tab pulled up, and I want to go back real quick to something you were talking about. With getting the graded cards. And I think there's the jury's out on that one. That's one of those things that I've seen it both ways. And we've even talked about that here before with grading different things, and I think it does get out of hand with grading certain things that aren't like cards or comic books or those sorts of things that are really truly collector's items. Because let's not kid ourselves here. Baseball cards have been truly collectible since I don't know, Honus Wagner. So
Right.
And I think the same can be said for comic books because I don't know, Action Comics #1, which is 1939. So
Right.
look, we're talking about a long history here of collecting those things. But then when you get into like graded VHS tapes, like I get a little. It starts to get a little cloudy for me.
Yeah.
The grading process though is and this is a crazy thing. So like I don't know, people tend to balk. They're like, oh, why'd you pay blah 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 for a card? If you or me were to just turn over a card to PSA that we knew was worth less than $500, it's $25 a card.
Right.
I mean, the grading process itself, like automatically, it's the reason why it tacks on a good chunk of change to at least their PSA. And I know, I would assume anyway, that the others are not far behind. But that's the thing. Like, you're getting it in most cases professionally looked at, and it's you're basically handing over a piece of artwork to say, how good is this? And the insane thing is that it's almost like playing the lottery or running and doing a slot machine. Because if you have something, or if you happen to stumble upon something that's graded highly, that's very desirable, and people will pay a really, really high premium, as you found out from scouring eBay.
Right. And that's the thing. Like I was looking, what was the one card I found? It wasn't even, I don't even think it was graded. It was a Dawkins signature. It was like $130. Now that I understand, but then there's other cards like, oh damn, like trying to get a Bryce Harper that's graded. Nah, sorry, bud.
They're right now, they are, and I know this for a fact, from about 1 year ago now, they are double what they were going for a year ago. Right now, I think the lowest I've seen, and they may be even much higher, lowest I've even seen is around 300. It may be 400 now. I haven't really looked in the last month or two, but does that sound about right?
Yeah.
For graded autos anyway. And I mean, obviously they're authenticated. That was Katie's big Christmas present last year. I was able to pull off and grab a Harper out of 49 tops now but he was a national, so it automatically dropped it a little bit.
Right, right.
But it was graded highly. I think it was a 9.5. It was out of Beckett grading, and it was about 150. So I know that's why I know for, and it was around this time of year that I grabbed it. I snagged it. So I just know that now, looking in the last month, it's doubled or more, and it's crazy. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I do have a question. Have you seen anything that like really jumped out at you? Like, oh man, I really love this insert. I love this parallel, or I love this design, or anything that.
Not yet. I've been trying to stay away from stuff just because I'm like, dude, I can't get too far down the rabbit hole. But I do really like the fact that Topps is making these kind of throwback cards. I've seen a lot of cool, like, I don't, they're parallels upon parallels upon parallels. And that is where they kind of lost me the last time I was really collecting cards.
Mhm.
Because it's like, dude, how many parallels of a parallel can you have? And it was like, because they have like the 89 set, right? Then they have the 89 set that's signed. And they have the black border. And then they have the refractor. And then they have the black refractor. And then they have like the red reflect or the red border. And then the red refractor. And they all have autographs. And it's like, dude, what the shit? How does anybody ever collect an entire set anymore?
They can't.
And then, like, even with the normal cards, you've got the base set, then you have the white border, and then you have the red border, and then you have the green border and the blue border, and so on and so forth. And like, shit, man.
Yeah, and Topps this year, I don't know if you were aware of this or not, but to my knowledge, I believe this is the first year they did it. The first card that came off the print run had like a special insignia embossed on it. So like if it was the first card of anybody for the regular base set, off the print run, off the machine, it got a special stamp, and those got put in. And then you have players that are going around now, and like, especially the rookies, my first signed card, one of blah blah blah, and now those are starting to go for, because it's crazy because of how deep it gets. And then you had mentioned that about the red border and the black border and the sign and the white and the whatever. Have you gone and seen the people doing the rainbow collecting?
Oh God, no! I can only imagine though.
So, but yeah, they basically do just that. They go and they hunt and they find, of the ones that are issued that way. Oh, I need to find the red and the orange, and it basically builds out the rainbow, because that's how many parallels have been released for that particular.
I will say, I did grab some Topps Heritage from Target the other day.
Oh, nice.
And I do like this design. This design is kind of cool. I ended up getting a Bryce Harper out of it, but like this is a pretty sweet set. And I don't remember what year.
That's 75.
That's a 75. Okay.
Yes. Yep. Yeah,
So
that's this year's Heritage, isn't it?
yeah.
Yep.
So like, there's some pretty decent ones. I got like although I did get a Diamondback, like, and it's an actual Diamondback. I think it's a sticker, but yeah. So that kind of sucked. And then like I got news flashbacks to Louisiana Superdome opens in New Orleans. We've got new age performers, Fernando Tatis Jr., Andy Rodriguez. Got some decent stuff in here, but nothing like super special. I was super stoked. Like, I saw the first card I saw, I was like, oh wow, it's signed. No, it's not. That's just how they look. But it looks, they've gotten the printing down so well that it actually does look like it's like printed.
Right.
Or like they wrote on it. And it's kind of crazy to me that's how well they've got it. I did get an Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a hang on.
Yeah, so I definitely want to hold on to that one. That's the first stack. Let me show you this. So I know this is super good for the listeners here, but I did happen to, like I said, I got a little Bryce Harper action going with.
Sweet, I like it.
Yeah, so
Yeah, that
got
is sweet.
him and Nick, and I got Masataka Yoshida, his rookie card. So
Sweet.
that one works for me. But
Now,
it's a really cool looking set.
Now, are you familiar with the fact that Heritage likes to? Now, you did show me the Diamondback, and then you mentioned a couple of other oddball things. But are you familiar with the fact that they dump in autographs of like random people in that set?
No, I did not know that.
Okay, so now, granted, they do have like cut signatures from baseball players, like historic. So, like Bob Gibson, Brooks Robinson, Catfish Hunter, so forth. So that's one of the things, and they've done that I think for a long time, where they just take cut signatures of players that have passed on, or obviously maybe too old or whatever. But yeah, they do throw those in there, but they do it with celebrities as well in that set.
Oh,
I'm just going to run you through some of the celebrities that are cut signatured, and these are one of one, so there's only one of each floating around.
shit.
Bill Gates, Burt Reynolds, David Bowie, Elvis Presley, Gerald Ford, Jack Nicholson, Lou Graham, Muhammad Ali, Margaret Thatcher, Olivia Newton-John, Paul Allen, Paul Newman, Mick Jagger, Bobby Moore, and Steven Spielberg.
Dude, I kind of need the Bowie, and I kind of need the Paul Newton.
Isn't that great?
Not Paul. No, Paul Newman.
Paul Newman. Yeah, isn't that crazy?
That's awesome. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't be upset if I pulled the any of them, because they're all worth money, obviously.
Well, I tell you what, there is a cool card in that set too. That's if I'm reading this correctly, I could be wrong. No, I think I'm reading this correctly. So the Cincinnati Reds, Boston Red Sox, Baltimore Orioles, and Milwaukee Brewers all have a dual clubhouse collection autograph that's out of 10, and it's by a Hall of Famer and a current player. So like the Brewers is Robin Yount and Christian Yelich. The Orioles is Jim Palmer, Grayson Rodriguez. The Red Sox is Jim Rice and Rafael Devers.
Ooh.
The Reds is Johnny Bench and Ellie De La Cruz.
Oh, I need it. I need it. Like really badly. I need that card.
But
here's the deal.
That's the cool thing about that stuff, man. It's just neat.
Look, here's the deal. I need it. Not only do I need it to like so that we can have it for the show, but then I'm gonna auction it. And I'm gonna use the money to buy a house.
I know it's dude, for real. I mean, that's the crazy thing, but that's what the I think the part that's really neat. Like I said, and I think I always like to equate it to, running a slot machine or playing the lottery or whatever. Because that's what it is to some people. Opening a pack, and they could make quite a substantial amount of money, and that's where you get into like, and we've touched on it on here a bit with the breaks, the breakers, and all those, where you can buy in to someone on YouTube that's opening packs and be like, oh, I'm paying $50 so I can get all the Philadelphia Phillies that this guy opens out of these next 10 packs. And sometimes they hit some crazy one of one, and it goes to, and I don't know. I guess there's a market for everybody, and there's something, I guess that's the cool thing about, society in general, is that you can do stuff like that. That's not for me. Watching somebody else open to find what they got, I think is cool, but not watching somebody else open to what I might get.
Right.
I'd rather open it myself.
Exactly. If I have a hand in it, if I have if I got skin in the game, I want to open that pack myself.
Yeah. I mean, it'd be like I could see it if, like, say you and I went in on a box and like, oh yeah, we're just going to divvy it out this XYZ way, whatever. That'd be cool if like you'd say you're a fan of the Phillies and I just happen to be a fan of like another team.
Right.
Like that you could pretty much easily disperse that way and be like, oh, we're just going to sell the high dollar ones, or we'll split them as best we can. But like, I don't know how that works for like those people that do that just for like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy this and then have that trust in the people that are you're actually gonna get your stuff.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. I mean, I guess there's got to be some kind of protection, I would assume, but
There
also
is.
you're dealing with YouTube and
Right, there is, and I've seen several times over the years of sleight of hand, and I just
yeah,
it's just and good thing is these people are getting in trouble. I mean, it's because basically you're stealing at that point.
right.
Um, because you're not rendering services provided, but or something along those lines anyway. But it's I don't know. I don't know. That whole breaking hobby is cool to watch, like the little short clips to see what these people pull, but mainly because I'm not the one pulling the handle on the slot machine.
Right.
you know, I don't know.
Man.
But no, certainly glad I've got you sucked into it.
Thanks, Dick. I really appreciate it.
um, no, it's cool, and look, it's baseball. I think is still probably up there, but basketball is really crazy. I'm not into it, but that seems to be a really popular one.
Yeah, the one thing that's really kind of throwing me off is back, during junk wax, and I know this was done to eliminate the junk wax kind of stuff from happening, but it's crazy to me that Donruss is making cards with no league mention on it.
Yeah,
Like it's just like Philadelphia. Philadelphia who? Well, we know it's the Phillies, but why don't they have logos on their uniforms, stuff like that? Without that major league license, it's just kind of weird. Like it reminds me of the Bobo cards you would get with cereal boxes and stuff.
hey man, you look on eBay. There's some of those craps graded too, going for money.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Like probably let me see, is the 1989 post set worth something or
I don't know
like
if it's worth something, but I've seen that several times over. Or
yeah,
even the ones that you would cut out. Like you'll see them, like they say hand cut, and it'll have it like
really?
graded. Yeah.
Get the heck out of
Well, when I
here.
say graded, it would be graded's probably not the right word. It'll actually have hand cut, but it'll be encased in that same kind of thing with the serial number and everything.
Wow.
hmm
That's nuts, dude. I wish I would have kept the bottoms of my boxes now. Because remember, there was cards on the bottoms that like if you would buy a box of cards, there used to be, at least with tops, the bottom of the box was like a sheet of cards.
hmm
Um I had quite a few of those growing up, and then um God, I remember getting the uncut sheets and like comic books and like Beckett and stuff. Um and what was the other one? There was another game, or not gaming. There was another sports card price
Yeah,
guide.
Beckett, I remember the big one. Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about. Ooh, I don't know. Beckett's the only one that comes to mind because I remember having the subscription to that for a year or two. Um, but no, and then you'll see like weird things like print run sheets that came from and it's really cool. Like I've seen like news articles and then there's people like posting pictures. They're like, well, yeah, my grandfather worked at the Tops factory back in the 19 whatevers, and somehow had like all these sheets of cards that they let him take, and it's like what? like
Good.
they're just like completely rolled up, and
Yeah,
it's like sheets of like stuff from like the 1960s or whatever, and it's just like that is crazy.
I'd like to one day. What I'd like to do is I have a Dick Allen and a Pete Rose. I think it's like 1973 or maybe even earlier than that. Tops posters, and like they're definitely like yellowed
mhm.
and stuff because it's paper. It's just like it's literally just paper. But I'd like to see what those are worth at some point.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing. Like, there's other things too that came out, like the coins.
Yeah,
Um, You don't, obviously that's certainly some stuff never really came back. And I think that to me is one of them. I don't, the coins I think kind of to us anyway died off really, at least en masse in the 80s. But those were around for quite some time prior to that. I know that there's at least some stuff that floated around the 60s. I don't know, maybe even before that. I don't know. But I'm trying to think what else was just kind of unique. You'll see him again now. Mini is still out there. Top still has
Really?
mini cards out there. Yeah. Not quite as, I guess, frequent. I don't know if I've seen full like mini sets available. I'm sure there are. But then the tops had those different sizes too. Like they had the really miniature ones, the super small ones,
Yeah.
and then the ones that, if you recall, were like just a little bit bigger, and then the regular card size.
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember those? Like there's three
Yeah.
different, yeah, and then Bowman had to screw it all up with those big guys, like '89, where he couldn't fit it in a sleeve.
Yeah. Those fuckers. You had to buy extra special cases and stuff for the cards. I actually found the poster, that one of the posters that I have. It's actually 1961
Oh wow.
or 68, sorry. Let me copy it and paste it. But I have two. I have Pete Rose and I have Dick Allen. So there's the Pete Rose. And let me see if I can find Dick Allen.
That's cool.
And it's, $55. That ain't nothing there.
Yeah, that's cool. 68 posters, pinups. Interesting. Huh. They're cool looking.
Yeah.
So that was packed in like a pack, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dick Allen. 10. Well, that one's ripped. That one's missing like an entire corner of it. But it looks like it's somewhere around. Well, doesn't look like anybody has the Dick Allen other than me, apparently.
Yeah, and you find stuff like that too. I've looked up some stuff out of curiosity that I had laying around just to see, and sure enough, like I couldn't find any comparable to it. Not that it was really worth anything,
Right.
maybe because no one was really wanting to sell it, but but I thought that, I always thought that was interesting. Like, hey, wait, what is this worth? And then you try to look at it, you're like, you can't find anything.
Yeah, and I've had quite a few things like that. I'm like, what the shit? But this is but these have been bouncing around with me for a while now. I've had them and they're just folded up, and like I never really knew what to do with them. And obviously, there's no good trading card stores down here, so.
Yeah, we don't have any at all. I'm going to throw a link to you real quick in chat. I don't know if you've come across anything like that so far. I think that'd be a nice little piece for discussion.
Let's see. Repacked wax.
So the link I sent, as you just said, is repacked wax, and that's not the only one. There's a couple of them that are main, but it's interesting. They take cards that have been opened for God knows since the 1950s, and they're combed through, and they pull like the really good looking quality ones supposedly. And I've watched several videos of folks open these, and I can verify they are clean looking cards. And it's a really cool concept. So they have cards that date back to the 1950s all the way to fairly current times, and they repack them and for you to open. And the cool thing is they do slot in some interesting things at times. So I don't know, it's interesting. I think it's a nice spin on not just buying in bulk,
right,
and buying clean cards and still having the thrill of opening a pack.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It's a neat concept. They're a little overpriced in my opinion, but
yeah, especially since they've gone through them, and you're not going to pull like a mantle or like
no,
that.
no. No, but
Like
it
no autograph cards in there, but it's still kind of cool.
yeah, it's cool if you're looking to, I don't know, just up your collection with unique things,
Yeah,
you know. And that's the other thing too. If you look up, certain things, you can run through and buy a litany of 59 tops, for example, for mere pennies comparative to most everything else. And I think because my guess is, especially if you're looking for like Phillies or whoever, there's not really a whole lot of top-notch talent on the 1959 Phillies. So a lot of those cards can be had for like basically nothing, 60, 80 cents a dollar. I mean,
shit.
but it's crazy because of how old that they are. So I'm gonna assume that the print run was just so high that that's probably like that was like the first like iteration of like junk, you know.
Yeah. Well, and aren't they now too? Aren't they doing like the lower numbered cards are actually short printed again, like they used to do?
Yeah, there's something with that to that. And then that's he's talking about parallels. Then you have the whole SSPs and all that, which they're marked on the card of like the super short print type ones.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's a whole nother can of worms. Is start looking through your cards that you get, because you'll see like um, little variations on there, and they'll have like, you know the little SSP insignia or whatever embossing on. I think it's on the back. But yeah, it's a super short print, and that's again a whole nother thing to look at. And that dollar card can be worth 50 pretty quick or more.
Oh, lovely.
So yeah, sorry. I
It's all good.
found that out. Katie was opening a Heritage box last. It was for her birthday. It was last year's Heritage. I pulled one of those cards that it just had the word like traded. It was the it was either traded or free agent. I can't remember. I can't remember which one it was, but I didn't really think much of it. And then I got to looking at it, and I was like, why does this look so much different than all the other cards? Like it just has this like banner on it. And come to find out, it was like a 1 in 2,000 pack pull or something. And I don't even remember the player, but it's like a $50 card. And I'm like, what? Like, because it's such a
Nice.
it's like a shorter print. And they do crap like that too. And it's like, wait, what? Like,
All right.
I had to learn, like, you can go and find on their website and it'll show you like the odds of pulling certain things. And they have it in a PDF, and it just shows you everything of like basically all their parallels and all the stuff that they have. And it's like, good Lord, like we just had this conversation about how many different things they put in there. And then you find out that they put in like another 50 types of things. Like, it's just
Good
crazy.
Lord. Oh,
Uh, anyhow, but I don't know. I know you got a little rant to do too.
yeah. Dude, I'm just tired. You know what it is? I'm tired. I'm so tired. And I'm gonna out myself on something. I'm not even gonna go far into it. I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna say fucking credit is a goddamn scam. It just is.
I
It's
agree.
just I'm so fucking tired. I have busted my ass for years to do what I needed to do to try to keep my family afloat. And over that time, we've had COVID, we've had hurricanes, we've had you name it. And during that time period, there's been no relief. And so things have gotten a little out of control with certain situations. And now we come to the time when I'm trying to move and I can't get approved for anything. I can't get approved for a car. I can't get approved for a mortgage. And here's the thing. I've tried to go through and track my credit and know what my credit score is and think. And I was thinking, oh, I've been trying to get my credit score up. Well, it's up to a passable spot where I can get done what I need to get done and move on to the next steps, only to find out that it's not even remotely close. And I'm using three different credit monitoring services: Experian, Credit Karma, and then the Capital One credit monitoring, and none of them are right according to the mortgage application I just did. So, and every mortgage application you do, every car application you do, they all say different stuff. So, between all the credit monitoring saying different stuff and all of the mortgages and all these other companies, what's right? It's almost like it's purposefully obfuscated so that no one can ever dig themselves out of any holes, so that no one can ever get themselves where they need to be. And it's not right. And it's not fair to the consumer. And yeah, you know what? People can sit there and judge me and say, hey, you know what? Well, if everything would have just gotten taken care of when it should have got yeah, you know what? I get that. I 100% agree. But shit happens. And I nobody's going to beat me up over this stuff more than I'm going to beat myself up over it. So take your opinions and shove them up your ass. What I'm trying to say is that if they're going to make it so hard and they're going to make the redemption arc so difficult, at least give us a map. Let us know what we need to do to dig ourselves out, to fix the issues that are there. Give us an accurate number so we know what we're dealing with, so we're not just struggling along in the dark trying to find our way back.
And the other thing too is the make it make sense part. I may have mentioned this on here, or at least maybe not on pod, but to you personally. Paid my truck off earlier this year, which took me, I don't know, 6.5 years. Guess what happened to my credit score?
It went down, didn't it?
Yeah.
Yep. Because
It went way down.
They don't want us to pay shit off. They want us to be beholden to them.
Yep.
And that's not right. It's fucked up. It
Yep.
shouldn't be that way. How is anybody, you pay it off on time and you keep in debt and you keep on that treadmill and keep on accruing interest that you have to pay off, you're good to go. But God forbid you try to make good on your deal sooner than you're supposed to, and then you're punished for it.
Yeah, it's crazy. The different things that you can try to do good, pay off a loan, you pay off this, or you pay up certain things, or you're on time for X amount of whatever. The other thing that I think is just disgusting with it, that I can personally speak to, is I had the first credit card I ever had was a gas card. It was Sunoco, because that's where I worked. And the whole reason why was that I could start establishing credit. Well, that was opened in the year 2000. And the account shut down due to inactivity 3 years ago. Because guess what we weren't doing a whole lot of 3 years ago?
Right.
Traveling. Guess where there's none around here of? And guess what took a massive hit?
Oh.
Because that so happened to be my oldest line of credit. And then it just, massively dumped, like 40 points overnight.
Get the fuck out of
because a gas card shut down.
here.
I was like, what? And I periodically used it because of traveling, knowing that I had to keep it open.
Right.
And we were traveling some still, but not to the degree that we had been.
Right.
For obvious reasons. And yeah, it just, inactivity, shut it down. And I was like, I got to thinking, I'm like, how long did I not use this for? Because I used it at least twice a year. Like that was how I kept it open. Typically in New Jersey or on the way, or on the way somewhere else that had to happen at a Sunoco. And the best I could ever determine was 8 months. Wasn't like it was even for a year for an account that was open for over 20 years, and they just shut it down. And I'm like,
How ridiculous.
what? Like it just, again, make it make sense. Like,
Right.
like you said, provide that map, provide something, because no one understands it.
No. Maybe instead of learning how to, I don't know, there's how much pointless shit did we learn in school? Maybe have a class on credit, on how to apply for mortgages, on how to do your taxes, that kind of stuff, to teach people, to teach kids, because it needs to be, that's something that needs to be explained at a young age.
Yeah.
And I think if it is, you'll have a more, my parents did their best to teach me, hey, save money, pay your bills, do all that stuff. And I understood that. I got it. I didn't necessarily follow the save money part, but I understood pay your bills. It is what it is. But even, the best thing that they could tell me was pay your bills. That's how you keep your credit good. Don't go overspending. Okay, cool, got it. But explain in depth how it works, because no one knows that. And maybe that's the problem. Maybe that's why schools can't teach it.
Exactly.
Because nobody fucking understands it, but the people that are pulling the strings.
Yeah. I have a math degree, and I've a long-standing history of loving statistics, and I don't understand it.
And I'll go to this point. It's probably the same people making up those rules are the same ones that are up in the CEO towers at the gas companies, where they've readily admitted, oh yeah, we could lower gas prices. We could absolutely lower gas prices because we're making record profits here. But oh yeah, I've got a third vacation home that needs paid for, so we're not going to lower gas prices.
Yeah. That's,
until the greedy and the underhanded are willing to give up some of that, it's never going to change, and they're never going to give it up. So guess what, kids? We're all screwed forever.
it always rolls downhill.
Yeah. From the golden toilets.
But I do have one good thing we need to close up with, though.
What's that?
Your Philadelphia Phillies are off to their best start through 49 games. Well, tied with the 76 club. That's how good we are right now. I just have to say that 35-14. They're playing historic baseball right now, and it's been a ton of fun, and it's I don't know, man. I'm along for the ride.
The Rangers 9-0 now.
I'm loving it. So I want to do a tease out though. We got a cool concept here for a show that you threw out to me and Rich, and we'll tease it out. A little 80s movies love. What do you think?
Oh yeah, I've been going over it and I'm trying to figure out. There's certain ones that I need to keep, but then there's other ones that I'm like, dude, it's very hard.
Yeah,
it's like
I think it'll be good. It'll be good. It'll elicit some good conversation. So,
and some cursing probably, and some insults.
Yeah, more than likely. But
yeah.
Just gotta keep Rich at bay.
Well, as long as Rich isn't on here making racial slurs about any of it, we're good to go.
So be rich and Tom will never let us fall.